What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video updating you guys on some trade rumors and some trade chatter that's been going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if you are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I know there's a ton of people that watch this that aren't subscribed. There's a ton of Leafs content on here and a lot more coming as we get closer to the trade deadline. This is my bread and butter, as you guys know, so I'd really appreciate that. But let's get into it. There is a lot that I want to touch on here. I'm going to try to make it a shorter video because I want to hear your guys' feedback and recommend me some videos that you want me to make as we get closer to the trade deadline. I think I want to make some on like the Leafs' biggest targets and then individual target videos. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I want to start off with this because Kyle Dubas today basically talked about moves at the deadline, saying unless we get the news we don't want on Muzz, aka Jake Muzzin, I think we'll have just the one move left. Now, the one move is probably not going to allow the Leafs to have a ton of cap space because they would have about less than $1 million really to work with if you actually think about it. Obviously, with salary retention at 50%, they could still get a decent player. But Jake Muzzin has had 2 concussions as of recent. He keeps getting hurt around this time every year or in the playoffs. They need to let this guy sit and heal up. Now, if he does come back and he's healthy, that's great, fantastic. The Leafs will not be making any big moves towards the trade deadline. But I don't understand why the Leafs wouldn't utilize this cap space, go after more depth for the goaltender position, for the blue line, and get a forward, because they could quite literally do all of those things with that money. Because with the salary retention, they could bring in like $12 million if they really wanted to, but that's with 50% on a few different players. They could definitely do that, but I don't think they would. But they could bring in a lot of money and then get Jake Muzzin back for the playoffs, hopefully healthy. We're going to knock on wood. And you get a fresh Jake Muzzin that can go, just go crazy in the playoffs. Just let him do his thing. So I don't know. I think that this is a bit of a bluff when you read this. I think it's Dubas just trying to reiterate that they're not just going to be like, oh yeah, we're just putting Muzzin there. Even if he's healthy, we're just not going to take him off because we want that cap space. Obviously, he's not going to say that, but I really do believe the Leafs have a pretty solid position going into the playoffs, and they need a healthy Jake Muzzin, and they need that cap space. So I'm not really believing what he's saying there, but at the same time, we kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt here. So here's a couple more tweets that I want to bring up to you, coming from @NylanderThews. I think I've brought this account up a couple times, but Chris Johnston on Leafs Lunch, and I believe this was today. Yes, it was, or yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So he said, I think that you're probably going to see the Leafs trade for a left shot defenseman. Now, there are a few names out there. Sherratt is one of them. I'm not interested. I know some people are. I'm not interested. But again, if it was for next to nothing in a trade, sure. He's not worth a ton in my eyes. I know on the open market and what Habs fans want, they think he's worth a ton. I don't believe that. But a lot of people are bringing up names like Mark Giordano. There's a couple names from Seattle that people are bringing up. I want to make more of a video based off of the left shot defenseman that I think the Leafs could acquire. But I think Mark Giordano would probably be a massive fit. And regardless of left or right shot, they still need to get a defenseman. And I keep going on the Mark Pysyk train. This guy is cheap. He's good. He can play good minutes. And I think that he would really add the defensive style that this team needs. So let me know down below what you guys think. What left shot defenseman do you think the Leafs could be going after? And does it make a lot of sense to you, so I can make a video on it? Now, the next thing here that I want to talk about is coming from Joseph Zeta. He posted this on Twitter saying Elliot Friedman on the Jeff Merrick show, I believe that's the abbreviation, about Toronto's goaltending. I think the goaltending thing is a headache that they weren't expecting at this level. I don't think Fleury is coming here. I don't think they would trade a first rounder for him. Now, first of all, I believe they would trade a first rounder for him, but I don't believe that that's the top of their priorities. And I think that's kind of what he's trying to say here. Fleury would be well worth a first round pick, especially if they did have this cap space and were able to make a bigger move by asking Chicago to retain some of that salary so they could still add on different areas of their team. getting a goaltender like Fleury would be a no-brainer. You would probably see a guy like Mrazek going the other way to make money work as well. So the Leafs would probably have to add to that trade as obviously a first-round pick plus. I think it would just make a ton of sense, but it doesn't seem to be the Leafs' biggest priority. Again, let me know down below what you guys think about their goaltending situation and whether or not that makes a ton of sense for you guys. But Elliot Freeman's saying that they're just going to stick with what they've got. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Now, the next thing here, David Pagnotta from the fourth period in this clip here, I just wanted to bring it up to show you guys that I'm not just bringing this up out of nowhere, was talking about Max Domi and that the Toronto Maple Leafs could be interested in him. Now, the first thing I want to get out of the way is the grit and fighting aspect of Domi. Now, he is tough, and I definitely would not want to fight that guy, and I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't. But Domi doesn't throw a lot of hits. I believe he has less than 15 hits this year. There's guys on the Leafs' third and fourth line that have been hitting consistently more than him and are playing a more physical game. And he's really not good defensively as a forward. So you have to keep those things in mind with Max Domi, as well as the fact that his cap hit carries at $5.3 million. Now, he's an unrestricted free agent after this year, but the Leafs would have to pay to get Columbus to retain a lot of this salary, probably half, and then try to get another team in there to retain some more of that salary, because I don't think the Leafs really would want to be paying Max Domi all that much, because I think he would have to act as a depth piece on this team, because he hasn't been having the greatest season, but he's also not really bringing that physical edge. Now, mind you, 25 points in 44 games played is not bad, and the thing that I keep hearing is that if he was playing for Toronto, obviously Ty Domi was one of my favorite players as a kid. His dad played for this team, and listen, I had his jersey and everything. Maybe Max comes in here and he wants to be the tough guy, the crazy guy like his dad, and he goes, absolutely nuts and plays a huge physical presence game for us. Great, that would be awesome. But I don't know how much Columbus would be looking for in a trade with him for him. So the Leafs would definitely not be taking on that full cap hit and would be looking for a multiple team trade there, I would imagine. So definitely a bunch of different names here that I think people could be excited for, maybe some not so much. But Max Domi would be an interesting pickup if they were able to get Columbus to retain, and then obviously maybe get a third team involved to, soften the blow a little bit in terms of the cap hit. So I just wanted to mesh a couple things in here and not stretch out like a video on just one thing, because I think this is just a lot of information that's been the last few days that I wanted to bring up. So let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure to recommend some videos as we get closer to the trade deadline. I'm still working on doing a live show on YouTube and a podcast type thing very soon. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. Again, that's free. It helps me a ton. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.